I just had this thing. I love getting smashed, but one is too many, 1,000 won't be enough. I wasn't partying at all. It was just like I was in hell. You're just sort of stuck in this world and it just, nothing makes any sense. And it's so hard to break it. And then I did.
This week's episode is absolutely sick. It's with Matthew Jones from Bakery, which they make the best donuts in the world. They're little globes of delicious, bubbling joy that I love stuffing my face with. But his story is wild. He was living on a park bench, taking drugs. He'd lost literally everything.
I no longer had a family that wanted to see me. I no longer had money. I had my skills, so I still know how to bake. Somehow I've just got to do this again. Got to start again.
But from rock bottom, he managed to claw his way out, and he's built Ahead into an amazing multinational business. They got sites in Bangkok, New York. This story is wild, and you're going to absolutely love it.
That sound is a sound that everybody just finds magical. UK's best bakery school. We're like, wow. And really, that was one of the pivotal moments. It just put us on the map. And we built it completely from cash flow. You can achieve so much more than you think. I want us to be open in 100 cities globally. I dream big.
So you said in 2009 was the worst year of your life. I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
What rock bottom can be a gift? What was the gift of rock bottom, and maybe describe rock bottom?
Gosh, I suppose the gift of desperation. So 2009, so we're just going straight in there.
Yeah.
Nice, yep. I'm ready. So let's have a think. So 2009, I would have been 40.
Right.
And look, I'd had a great career. I left school, I had my career as a chef, I had a successful business. But you see, deep down in me was lurking this sort of hideous monster of alcoholism. Mm-hmm. And that followed me for many, many years in my life. And it sort of was it was a real part of me for many years, you know, and and it hasn't been now for many years.
Yes.
So I can talk about it really freely, and it sort of doesn't, and I look back at it and I think, what was that all about, you know? So, 2009 was the year when the kind of the music stopped and there was no chair for me to sit on, let's say. I had a great business, I had a lovely family life, and I was kind of juggling all of that with copious amounts of cider and substances. And so suddenly I was not able to juggle anymore. I just got, you know, I just fell apart. And, you know, it sort of all collided at once. This sort of, my world just collapsed. And yeah, what was I left with really? I was left with a bag, a sort of a carrier bag actually, that I went to live in a friend's farm.
Where was the farm?
In Rutland, so in the middle of England, Northfield Farm with Jan McCourt. Went to live on his farm. Well, I didn't go to live there. I said, yeah, and I've got nowhere to live. Do you mind if I come and stay at your farm for the weekend? And I'll try and make a plan. And I got up to his farm, and he sort of took a look at me, and he said, Jesus Christ, you look really ill, you know? And I was like, okay, I think I am actually. Yeah. And so that was a moment in my life, and something really happened to me when I went there. I just sort of set foot onto this farm, and I just suddenly, I don't know if it was the change of environment, the change of pace, but it was like a reset button in me.
Yep.
And I kind of sat there at Jan's farm table, in his kitchen table, and I realised, you know, that I no longer had a business. I no longer had a family that wanted to see me. I no longer had a place to stay. I no longer had money. I no longer had many things. But I had my skills, so I still know how to bake. And I thought, I don't know how, but somehow I've just got to do this again.
Yep.
I've got to start again.
Yep. When you said the music stopped and you didn't have a chair to sit on, like describe what that actually felt like when you wake up in the morning, what the first thoughts that are in your brain?
Well, I suppose, yeah, the first thing the first thing that stops is money, isn't it? Yeah, sort of, because you can juggle that for a little while if you're savvy in business. You can sort of rob Peter to pay Paul. You can get away with it for a little while.
What does that mean? Rob Peter
to pay Paul.
Sorry, okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, if you've got a business, you can sort of manipulate things, and if you're clever, you can sort of get away with it. You know what I mean? For a little while.
Yeah.
And then there comes a day when you can no longer get away with it.
Interesting. Yeah.
That was my day, and I just no longer get away with nonsense.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting. And then you said gift of desperation. When you're at that bottom pit, how did you use that when you're on that farm as a springboard to get what the first steps you took to get out of that malaise, that the depths of desperation? Like you said, it was a gift.
Yeah, I suppose it's funny. I mean, now it's 16 years ago, so it's quite a long time, and it's quite difficult for my mind to relate to that space because, you know, so much has changed.
Sure.
I just know I don't want to be there again. I just know that, you know. And I really value what I have, like massively, today, right now.
Which is?
Stability, you know, normality, honesty, great business with people coming to learn to bake. Look, there they are. And great team of people, like Molly and, you know, these Reese, 180 other people in this business.
Yeah.
You know, having grown. I mean, it's beyond, this journey has been beyond my wildest expectations by 100 times. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't, look, I mean, and did I plan this? Well, yes, look, I've always been ambitious, right? I mean, I was always, you know, I was 13 years old and I had a paper round. I wanted to do a second paper round. You know, I've got that kind of bug, you know?
Yep.
If I have one, I want two, you know? It's that simple, right? So, so that was always a part of my sort of genetic makeup, I suppose. If I, you know, when I used to do a lot of running, if I ran a marathon, I wanted to do a double marathon. You know?
Yeah.
I wanted to, if I trained to do something, I wanted to lift more. I always had that, you know, especially with those sort of challenges, you know. So as soon as we started making a Borough Market, we started making 1,000 donuts. I would just internally sort of think, how do we sell more? How do we sell 2,000? How do we do that? There must be a way. And I would just think about it and plan and, you know, just go through it in my mind until I find the way, if that makes sense.
It's interesting. So I've had my issues with all that sort of stuff as well. I mean, I still do drink, but when I was 28, I kind of had my rock bottom moment. I had to go and see a therapist, all this shit. Like, it was pretty bad. But it was kind of like I was going to the podcast, doing a podcast. I'd be drinking the night before. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh.
And it's just like, I'm letting myself down. And then I went sober for like 3 months. But then that was my catapult to get this thing moving. And I was like, it's weird. It's just this, I think the energy can be used both negatively and positively. Like if you, the same energy that makes you want to do 2 marathons, that makes you want to sell 2,000 donuts, you put that in front of pints and fucking cider and all that stuff. It's that desire for more. And it's like, it's trying to, I think the bit I'm trying to struggle with is how you channel it. You know? Yeah, so was just going clean, did that elevate your ability to, like, how did that change your drive?
Yeah, it's a funny thing, you know, I suppose. Yeah, I think in the early days of the business, I came from that chef background, you know, that Michelin world where tiredness was sort of something that you had to do, and you had to be really tired and really overworked. And from that came a lot of creativity.
Interesting.
And it was very much, and look, I think there's a part of that that's true. And because we do our best work when I think, and I don't know if it's the right thing to say sometimes, but I think we do our best work when we're really stressed. And it's, you know, that's the world I came from anyway, you know, and I know there's probably an alternative kind of thought developing in the world now where people need to be super relaxed and super chilled to be creative. It never worked for me. You know, I never had my best thoughts on my best days when when I was relaxed. I had my best thoughts and my most creative thinking when I was under extreme stress. Maybe that's just something that I was kind of trained to think, and is that healthy? Gosh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's certainly the way I was brought up, and so it's a funny, and obviously at the moment in the news with Noma and Renee and, that was very much, I left school in 1986, and which is 40 years ago, isn't it? So, wow, there we are. So 40 years ago, and the world I sort of went straight into was of these grown men, quite rough, drinkers, hard, swearing, unpleasant, unfriendly, don't look at you. It's just like, that's the environment in a kitchen. Get your apron on, get to work on time, and just shut up and do the job, really. And it was quite a punishing environment, a lot of bullying, a lot of burning, a lot of swearing, a lot of kicking, it was horrible. But somehow I really embraced it. And from the very, very first real work experience I had as a young man, in my sort of 15, 16, it was all about work hard, play hard. So you work 5-6 days a week, 1 day off, and all the chefs used to just go out together and get smashed down at the in Tunbridge Wells. Was my place, on a pub crawl, end up in some bar with some band playing, and look, it was great fun. It was so much fun. It was addictive, really. It was, and that sort of cycle of destruction, creation, and that really was like the bellows of my career, for many, many years. So I went from Thackeray's House with Nigel and all those guys. Nigel Ramsbottom, there was Gordon Malcolm, Bruce Wass was the head chef, Aidan Watts was the restaurant manager. I remember them like yesterday.
Yeah.
They had such an impression on my life. So mixed in with this world of just drinking to blackout was making puff pastry, was rhubarb, was seasonality, making jams, was plucking pheasants, was boning out pike, which was really awkward because they've got a strange bone structure.
Yeah.
Was filleting fish, was snails, escargot, was, and all this beautiful food, and visiting herb farms and fresh chervil and foie gras. And I was immersed in this. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like this, right, in my life. I can remember the first time I tried some foie gras. And Bruce used to make this dish, sauté foie gras, deglaze the pan with some raspberry vinegar and a little bit of honey. And my God, it was delicious. It was like this sensational flavors. I can smell it now. I can close my eyes and smell that dish. And only he could really make it. He had a real touch, He used to just get the pan just right, caramelize the honey, and what a flavor, He had a real touch. Yeah, so that was sort of one half of my career, and the other half was, get smashed to bits on a Saturday night, or Sunday or Monday. And that was sort of the chef's playground in my head, and it was very sort of, that's what I had.
Yeah, I love the idea of when you say sort of creative and destruction, destruction, because that's an interesting place to play. Would you say you're addicted to stress?
I don't know. I mean, at the moment, I'm sort of down the track now in my life a bit, 56, so I probably deal with things really differently. I mean, the sort of things that probably would have stressed me out 5 years ago don't stress me out now. Because I'm dealing with a different level of business. We employ almost 200 people. We've got different types of problems, and I've sort of re-geared myself or recalibrated myself internally to deal with that.
It's interesting. I interviewed Henry Dimbleby, who does Leon, and he says the longer you're in business, you basically get any of the problems and attacks that when you first go through them, you spike your cortisol levels, and you get really, really stressed. But the more you go through those things, the more resilient and robust you become. And it's like actually the thing, and I've noticed this with this, stuff that would stress me out intensely,
Yeah.
losing sleepless nights about it. Well, now, because we're 6 years down the line doing this stuff, but then that stuff doesn't stress me out, but it's the new challenges which spike that cortisol. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I can remember when we first started teaching people in the school. So we'd never done a school before, and we had the first group in. I felt like an idiot. Hi, Matthew, Bread Ahead Bakery School. Look, I'm making this up, right?
Yeah.
And that becomes normal. And then I start employing people, and it's all okay, you know? So, and, you know, I mean, like yesterday, I signed a lease we're taking a site in New York. I signed the lease yesterday. We don't have a head baker yet. We don't have a manager. We don't have a whole load of stuff. But I know now, look, these things, they just kind of have a habit of turning up. But I've got to do my bit first, as in creating the location and the opportunity, and then we'll kind of figure this stuff out.
And because you've done that so long, you've got that ability, you've built up that evidence and irrefutable proof that when you're in these precarious instances that as back to your point, I will find a way.
Yeah, well, and I think, as well, it's, I've got a great guy who works for me right now who really is in many ways become my right-hand man in the business. And he's young, and what's really nice is seeing somebody in their 30s, and I realized, gosh, they're 20 years younger than me. That's really, and you realize, because I was like that when I was, and it's, so it's allowing the sort of the younger generation to flourish, because there are hungry young professionals out there who want to do that. Yeah. I was that guy, back in my 20s and 30s. I was as hungry as anything. And, we sort of have to allow the space for new growth.
What are some of the advice you'd give I'm 32. Some of the advice you give your 32-year-old self?
Oh, just be completely out of your comfort zone all the time. Just go for it. I mean, do
really?
Not waste one day of your life, because you can achieve so much more than you think. And I think it's, you need a bit of, it's not arrogance, but, a little bit of arrogance or confidence with ammunition is a great tool. So
yeah, it's almost that three stools of the three legs of the stool. It's like ambition, confidence, but also fear.
Yeah,
I think that's a very interesting place to play. In the journey, what's been the most scary thing you've done or danced with?
We had in 2018, 2017, 2018, we had a great time in the business. We did really well. I'd saved up some money for really the first time in my life. I had some money in the bank. And I went to America. I went to LA. I traveled to the States quite a bit. I went to LA and I saw Tartine Bakery in San Francisco. Tartine Bakery in LA, the big one there. They have one in San Francisco, the original in San Francisco.
Is that an English chef is there, isn't it? Is that, I think my mate...
Richard Hart was there.
Yes, my mate, someone recommended him coming on the podcast, actually. Literally, a guy, interesting. Yeah, that was literally 2 days ago. Anyway, sorry.
Fabulous baker. Yeah. Really talented man.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I went to Tartine in Los Angeles. Massive place, wow. And I was like, wow, this is so cool, And I talked to my wife about it, and she was like, but why don't you do one like that? Come on, And I'm like,
how big was the business in 2018, like in terms of size?
Just Borough Market.
Just Borough Market.
Well, we had Pavilion Road, so we had 2 sites.
Right.
Yeah. Much smaller business, probably 40 staff. So I started looking around London for a big site to do a really big, a big step. I thought, look, there's no point in just opening another little shop. If we're going to do it, we do a big bakery. So I started looking around, then talked to the landlord up in Wembley Park, and they had this huge unit available. It's like over 10,000 square feet. And we sort of looked at this space, and I was like, yeah, we'll take it, And I was like, okay. So they offered us a really compelling sort of lease term. They gave us really good rent-free and some capex to help the build. And so we went into that, did it, built it, went massively over budget, by like £1 million over budget, because it was just so much bigger than we first thought.
Sure.
And then that was and then we went straight into lockdown. We opened for like 3 weeks, we went into lockdown. And I'm like, right, okay, wow, what are we going to do now? How are we going to navigate this, Because remember at the time, we had no idea what this lockdown thing was. Is this 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years?
Yep.
I mean, nobody knew. So went into lockdown. We had to refund school bookings for about 6 months in advance. It was a nightmare.
I can imagine, yeah.
But we wiggled through. So the fact we could do that would suggest we can do just about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
I spoke to Tom Kerridge about, and he was like, businesses, his whole thing's like the pirate ship and stuff, and we're talking about the seas, and he's like, the more, again, you're in it, is use it, when it's going up, like, when it's going down, actually, it's like the whole thing of like, adversity is a terrible thing to waste, right? Which is a Churchill quote. But like, how have you used adversity, like, what are some of the lessons as the beast's going down that have really helped you? Just
keep going. And I think one of the most, fortunate things I have, look, I'm still very hands-on as a baker. So if I'm having a rough day or a bad day, or I just go and do some work. I just get in the bakery and do some cleaning, or just roll croissants for a couple of hours. And that just kind of helps me to kind of stabilize my mind. And it just brings a sort of a normality into my life.
Yeah.
And I can really right size it. I still know I keep a very tight handle on the business, on the numbers, on the payroll, on the food cost, and that makes me feel okay. I know I'm running a good business.
Yeah. What's what when you say running a good business? What are the things that you look at that other businesses probably don't look at?
Yeah, you've got to look at it all the time, every day. P&L, every day. You've got to look at what people are doing.
Yeah.
Because it's that sort of, and I was taught that from a young age in the kitchen. If you're not busy, go and help somebody else. If there's nothing to do, go home. And that's how it is, because labor is the most expensive thing in any food business. And you have to keep it under control all of the time, not just some of the time, every single minute of the day.
Yeah.
Because it's those 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there of people's time, and making people efficient and holding people to account of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Not wasting, being careful, being mindful, upselling to a customer, making eye contact. Yes, sir. Oh, would you like it? Have you tried one of these? That constant sort of energy in a business is really what makes it a great business.
Constant energy in a business.
Constant.
That's such a good way of putting it. Energy is an interesting theme. Like, as I've been here, 2-3 hours before we quit here early to set up, but and as I sort of said, like the energy of this room, like the fucking things going over our head, the people baking here, like energy is a really important thing.
It is. It's everything.
How do you imbue that energy on the team? So like filters, because obviously you've got sites all over the world, right?
Yeah.
You've got, there's sites in the Middle East now. There's sites. I don't know, where you've got loads of sites.
We're opening in Bangkok in May. We're opening in Manila in June. We're opening in New York in August.
Wow. And then how many have we got in the UK? This is my research.
6.
And then in the Middle East, there's about
12.
12, yeah, I was going to say. How do you get that energy? Like, if you're in London, how do you spread that energy when you
I just step straight into it. So what now, if I'm, I just go straight into it, So if I turn up in the Middle East, I'll go straight to the production bakery, get changed straight in. I don't even bother going to the hotel. Suitcase, bakery, straight there. I don't waste time. There's no point. So I don't do silly things. I don't do silly meetings. I've learned to really sort of be smart with my time.
Right. Where do you think time is often wasted in business, or where did you used to waste time?
Having repetitive conversations, stupid. Just don't do it. Don't pick. Don't just go for the meat, not the potatoes, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's very hard though.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel again, and I think everyone I sit opposite. There's the meat versus potatoes thing. Is there's almost a myriad of different potatoes and things that you can like.
Well, we need our veg, I suppose, as well.
Yeah. You can get carried away with, but like, what would you say? Some of the silly meetings. What else is kind of? It's almost like if you could spend 2 hours a week on your business only. Where would you spend it?
Yeah, I'd be right in production.
Production.
Yep. Because that's where it all starts for me. It's about the product. If the product is amazing all the time, everything else seems to sort itself out.
Right.
If the product is shit, your business will fail. So if you've got an amazing product and you just keep that quality, it will always work. It will. In my experience in the food industry, if you've got a product like that you've got cure customers, they're coming for the product. They're not coming here for me. I mean, of course, look, I can be a little sprinkle of magic on top if I go out and say hello to the customers and I love that. But really, fundamentally, the customers come here for our product. And that's how I want to keep it. They're not coming to see Matthew.
Yes.
Of course it's nice, isn't it? But,
But also there's the Matthew's only, as you say, is the sprinkle when the product's good.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the first products you launched way back when, was it 2013, I think?
2012.
2012, sorry. So what were the 4 products you...
Back in 2012, I had a market stall in the bakery.
Again, energy. I love that.
Yeah, they are.
Energy.
Enjoying it.
Yeah. For listeners, the clapping is the bakery school behind us, which we'll get onto.
So I guess 2012, I had a market stall on the bakery. We used to make the cathedral loaf, which is really, this is a quarter of it. Still a great bread. There it is, boom.
Lovely.
Bread, it was all about the bread. And then we started doing some chocolate brownies. We started doing some cheese and olive sticks. And about a year after we opened, we started making donuts. The donuts. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They just ripped. Yeah,
it's an orgasm on the eye. It's literally delightful to look at. That's with again a platter of like an army of donuts sat in front of us. It's just So what was the thought process behind that? Was it we just want to try some donuts, or was it a gut thing? Was it look at the market thing?
No, just on trend. Justin from St. John was making great donuts at the time, and I think there was just a gap in the market really for a decent, a Michelin style donut, if that's the thing, if that's for a gourmet donut. We've all had our Krispy Kremes and it's kind of nah, we don't want that anymore. There was a definite gap in the market for a traditional custard donut, vanilla custard and a jam, which is where we started, 2 flavors. And then we made chocolate. Now we've got the 12 flavors. But vanilla and jam really are always the big ones.
And then what was the thing that started to really build the momentum in the business?
Aira is an AI communication platform where restaurants can manage all inquiries, bookings. This is literally a world first. Aira allows you to take bookings directly from your Instagram DMs. It makes the whole booking process super seamless. If a punter wants to ask any question about your restaurant, Aira will answer it. If they want to buy merch or make a booking, they can do it all through Aira. Aira doesn't send them to some icky outside link. This is what I really love. Aira literally learns your unique tone of voice. It will speak like you. It's an extension of your brand, an extension of your restaurant. This means people, when they first interact with your restaurant, it feels on brand. This isn't some shitty soulless bots. Aira literally collects so much information about your customer, remembers every tiny weeny little detail about their experience, and allows you to build relationships with soul at scale. It's so sick. A feature I really love is Aira will automatically send out cold outreach emails. Aira can send these emails to people who haven't been in for a while, to regulars, to people who've got a special occasion coming up. The customer simply clicks the link at the bottom of the email and the pre-filled booking form is already filled out. So all you got to do is click and you've made the booking. It's so simple. Click the link in the show notes to book a demo. You're going to love it.
It's very easy to work very hard when there's lots of momentum. But the bit I'm always intrigued by is when there's no momentum, when you feel like you're pushing water uphill. That's the bit that's interesting. It's all fun and games when everything's flying, but what were you doing to get that momentum?
Yeah, I've always had a lot of energy for what I do. I've always had that. So, I think the thing that really helped us on top of it all was the school. And that, basically we run bakery workshops. So we've always got groups of people coming into the bakery. And that was a part of the vision from day one.
Really?
To run immersive bakery workshops. Yeah, that was always a part of it. And it's just so nice having new people in the business all the time. Because I think a lot of bakeries, or the standard bakery model is you have a bakery and a retail counter and you sell your product. So what we've done is created a space where the customers come much deeper into the business. So they really experience it. And when you look at the courses we've created, they are, in essence, sort of little pockets of knowledge taken from a industrial bakery, really, and put into a domestic environment.
Right.
So you can recreate that at home.
Yeah.
All of our courses are really around domestic baking.
So what year was that when that you opened?
2014. It was like a year, 6 months after we opened.
And how did you start getting punters in? Like,
Just friends. We just sort of talked to friends and said, do you want to come along on a baking course? We're sort of developing this thing, and before you know it, we did that. Then we did Groupon for a while. That was, we were sort of doing them for free or £20 each or whatever. And then we had a great baker, a friend of mine he was actually from the States, but he's an English guy, but he lived in America for a long time. Did some teaching for us. He was a really good teacher, Sim Cass. And he did a course downstairs, and unbeknown to us, we had the Financial Times came along to one of our courses. And the next week, we were in the FT, in the weekend thing, in the weekend bit. Double page spread.
Amazing. Yeah.
UK's best bakery school. We're like, wow. And really that was one of the pivotal moments when we suddenly, it just put us on the map.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just word of mouth.
Yeah.
But that was a big push. That really helped us.
Yeah, but I suppose you've got to take the leap to get the FT spread, right?
Yeah, you've got to have the content, because journalists need content. They need things to write about. And so I think a lot of, being in innovation in businesses, you've just got to be prepared to just do something a bit new. Build it, they will come.
Build it and they will come. So I know you briefly touched upon, like, when you said when you're stressed, like, if you just go and start baking, it kind of mellows the malaise of your brain. Yeah. What are some of the big life lessons you think people can get from baking? Because I was speaking to Reese beforehand, your CEO, I think, and like you're trying to educate like over 20,000 kids or something. That number might be wrong.
We're teaching a million children. Over the next 10 years.
Yeah. So what do you think are some of the good life lessons you get from baking?
Well, for me, baking has been the pillar of my life. So it's the one thing that kept me going through the darkest days. The darkest days of my life. And, I don't have that many dark days anymore, but I used to. But somehow baking was there in the background healing me. And maybe I didn't know it at the time, but it was. Because it's this sort of lovely rhythm in the background of your life. That's, I think, what people need. Rhythm
in the background of your life.
It nourishes you, and it smells great. So if you bake at home, look, I don't bake at home, obviously. I mean, it would be pointless for me to bake at home. I bake here because, But if you're baking at home, taking a lovely loaf of bread in a Dutch oven out of your cooker, out of your oven.
Yeah.
It's so much more than a loaf of bread. It's the smells it creates. It's the warmth. It's the creativity. It's the satisfaction of making something. And then it's sharing it with your family. And it's what you do with it on day 2 and day 3. And there's a whole story there. It's so much more than making a loaf of bread.
Tell me that story.
Well, you've got the preparation.
Yeah.
So instead of scrolling on Instagram or watching Netflix, you're preparing your sourdough, and then you have this sort of relationship with your sourdough in your fridge, and you've got to be conscious of that. You've got to feed it every 2 or 3 days. You've got to be. It brings this sort of awareness into your life, and then
slowness almost.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Slows it down.
Wow.
And then if if you're going to bake a loaf of bread on Friday, so you're going to be preparing you're going to be refreshing your sourdough on the Tuesday and the Thursday. You're going to be getting it ready, you're going to be nourishing it, and then you make your dough on a Thursday night, and then Saturday morning or whenever, and this lovely sort of whole process. And then, the proving, cutting the top into the oven, take the lid off, get that lovely crust.
Yeah.
And then when you take it out, that sort of, that sound, that.
Yeah.
Get that.
Yeah, 100%.
that sound is a sound that everybody just finds magical.
Yeah.
That, and you can smell that even for the viewer now, the listener. You can, if you just close your eyes for a moment and think about fresh bread coming out of an oven, and let's just take a moment to do this together, and you can sort of smell it, and it just kind of heals something in you, and it just, this lovely sort of warmth radiates from your heart just out, into the world.
Yeah, it's,
it's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful fucking thing, man.
Sweets, those lovely, and I mean, when we, I'm really interested in teaching children about baking and bread, because and just taking that moment to connect with what it means, because everybody's got a different, if you smell a loaf of bread, or I smell one, you will pick out different little flavors and notes, and it's just really nice to smell a loaf of bread, this sourdough, not a packet bread. Sliced stuff.
Yeah.
Smells of vinegar.
Yeah.
You want to smell this, a sourdough, and just take a moment to really, go through those different sort of notes and different things that are happening. It's intriguing. And even the textures, if you touch the loaf of bread, we can feel that sort of almost like semolina sort of texture on the outside, the grittiness to it.
I think it's engaging all your senses.
Totally.
And I think that takes, especially in the world of, my phone's to the left of me, of that fucking bollocks. And I'll be, I doom scroll all the time.
Yeah.
It's just, once I'm on there, I've got addictive personality. I'll just go and watch, sometimes it's bad. Like on a Sunday, if I'm hungover, it's like 3-4 hours. It's like,
it's dreadful.
But I think there's something about creating something, physical and that you can smell and you can eat it, and it's giving. When you said originally you had this monster which was alcoholism inside of you, and this pastry or baking was kind of the beacon of light in those dark periods. Like, what were some of the darkest thoughts you were having? Like, where was that coming from?
Don't know really. I mean, there's many ways to think about alcoholism. For me, at the time, I used to feel terribly sorry for myself, and I'd be like, crying in my sort of soup. And now I don't. I just think it was a really stupid habit, actually. Just a really bad habit. And sometimes people do need a real kick up the arse. They just need, somebody to come along into their life and shake them up. Because people are really scared of alcoholism and alcoholic people, because we're so manipulative and we're so good at kind of avoiding it. We move around it. It's such a weird thing. And I was a master of doing that, of kind of disguising my drinking and making excuses for it. And no, I just don't have to do that. And it's so refreshing. And so, I still dream about it. Often I dream that I'm drinking. And it's like, and in my dream what happens, it's usually cider, funnily enough. And I dream that I'm drinking, but it's usually just before and I wake up and I'm so relieved, and I'm just like, oh, thank God. And I'm so thankful. And I'm just like, because it was a nightmare. It was just a nightmare. And you're doing it, and you shouldn't be doing it, and you're just sort of stuck in this world, and it just, nothing makes any sense. And it's so hard to break it. And then I did. And it was just like, and obviously, look, the first 2-3 weeks is hard. The first 2-3 months is hard. The first year is hard, and you sort of, but when you get sort of 10 years, 15 years down the line, it's, I'm still really vigilant every day about it. But it's much easier, because I've got a lot of credit in the bank of days sober. But, even now, a funny thing, if I go to a restaurant, I have a glass of water, I sniff the water before I drink it, because it's just, I'm paranoid about if I just accidentally drank something.
Sure.
I'm really, I haven't been in a pub for 15 years. I would never go, I would never go to that environment. I have no interest. I go home. My wife and my son, and we cook dinner and have a bowl of soup and go to bed,
Yeah.
8:30,
Sure.
Up in the morning.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I'm like, again, I ask all these questions selfishly, but I'm taking time off it, and then but I'm on it quite a bit at the minute. But like my sort of way is, it's work, you know, it's meeting, it's socialising, and it's like, it's tricky because it's like, I do really enjoy it, and I do. But like so I'm running the marathon in 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
But so from Monday I'm going off it for 6 weeks, bang. So I'm quite good at doing that. But it is very interesting, like how it can, as you said, it's so you can be masterful at the ways you can deny it to yourself almost.
Well, the worst, I mean, so when I was a chef, you know, I was on and off, you know. I mean, I used to sort of be able to get away with it. In my 20s, have a real tear, you know, like go out.
So talk me through like a normal like Wednesday service. So you get there.
Yeah, well, I was running the pastry section. So I started off as a chef in the main kitchen, and then I ended up in pastry. Really, I ended up there because, one, I loved it, and I could do it. I could make pastry, I understood it, and nobody else really wanted to do the pastry section.
Why is that?
I don't know, really. I think there was a sort of macho thing about being a sauce chef, you know, and everybody wanted to do the butchery and the sort of fillet steaks. And so I ended up making creme brulees and, you know, Bakewell tarts and whatever, custard tart and poached rhubarb and all those lovely desserts. But yeah, I used to get smashed all the time at work. You know, there'd be stuff I used to eat cherry trifle in the morning because it would have to give me a little buzz, you know. I remember doing it. But there'd always be access to booze in restaurants, always. So and everybody used to just, you know, I remember when I worked at Bibendum, they used to have beers. They used to have staff beers in the kitchen. Yeah. It was just like, you would never see that now.
Yeah.
We had a slab, 24, I mean, there was probably, I don't know, 12 people in the kitchen, I think, about 12. And there'd be a little slab of those Carlsbergs. Yeah, I remember it. You know, and even that, I would abuse it. You know, most of the guys in the kitchen at the time, they'd have one, wouldn't they? Like a normal kind of person. I'd have 6, hide 3 more, you know? I just had this thing. I love getting smashed. I didn't want to have one drink. Ever. From a young age, when I was 13, I never wanted to.
There's the James Dean quote, which is 1 drink's just perfect, 2's too many, 3's not enough.
Yeah, well,
and by that, it's like once you once you get going, it's just I can't get off. I really struggle to get off the train once I'm on it.
Well, in the fellowship we say, well, 1 is too many, 1,000 won't be enough. That's, yes. You know, that's the whole principle.
So you went to AA? Is that how you?
Oh yeah, I still go. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, of course.
Congratulations.
How
long have you been clean?
15 years.
That's amazing, mate. Well done.
But it's still, you know, it's a strange thing, but it's the only thing. You know, you can try anything, you know, and if there's any listeners out there right now, I mean, don't waste your time. Just go to a meeting. It's the only thing.
Is there anything you took from that meeting that you can apply to business? Like
all the time, everything.
What are some of those things?
Make a gratitude list. If you're feeling a little bit ungrateful for yourself, if you're feeling a little bit, you know, as we all do, you know, because we're human. So, you know, this morning I was feeling a little bit like sorry for myself, you know, because it's, you know, whatever reason, isn't it? We don't feel great some days. And then I hang on, what have you got to be grateful for? Like about 1,000 things right now, you know? So it's an amazing tool for life, really. You know, there are so many great little pearls of wisdom.
Like, what are some of those? Other ones?
Gosh.
The gratitude one's great. I think like everyone feels sorry for themselves too much.
All the time.
So, poor me. I think just to live in the UK, man. Like, you've won the fucking
British
lottery.
passport.
Yeah, you've won the lottery there.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't really think. I mean, well, I think of that thing as well about discretion, about, you know, not talking too much, you know, about being a bit more mindful, about thinking about, do you really need to say something, about did you react too much, about not overreacting.
Yeah.
You know, of just mindfulness. And I was sort of reflecting on the day, when you go to bed at the end of the day, look, it's about, you're never going to have perfection. But at the end of the day, it's really important to reflect on the day you just had and think, would there be anything I did differently? You know, did I really need to be a little bit short with that person in the bank? You know, did I really need to be a little bit grumpy with that? Did I say thank you to somebody, actually? Did I just stop for a moment and recognize that somebody actually really made an effort. And it's because it's really important just to take those, because it means so much to people.
Yeah.
It really means a lot.
It's also linking this to the baking. It's like this whole idea of just slowing down, being grateful, like for the, breaking bread, quite literally. Like, is that slowness? That's so interesting.
Well, and that's something that's happened to me in my later life. Like I came, as we said, earlier, I left school, I went into that world, that restaurant, Michelin world, where everything was very fast paced, very aggressive, and not a very kind environment. And it was.
I read somewhere you said I found my electricity. That was one of the articles I read. It's like I found my electricity, and that was the place I wanted to be when you first stepped into a kitchen.
Yeah. It was. I just loved it. I never, like, for example, I went into that. I put an apron on, and I would never have considered being a waiter. It's funny. I mean, and some people love being a waiter, and God, we need waiters, of course, and it is a great career and essential, but I wouldn't want to do that. And there's, sort of cats are cats and dogs are dogs. And, so there's different types of, I liked being, I think what it was, especially in bakery now, I like coming into work with raw materials and converting them into something else. I love that process. I like being in control of that. So it's that conversion, that mixing dough, retarding, proving, whatever we need to do to it. There's a whole load of processes. I like having my arms around things like that. I like woodwork. I like making things. I enjoy it. And I like being in control of it.
So interesting. So it's like almost, this may be wrong, but what I'm kind of gathering from you, mate, is that it's like almost like you had this, so much of your life was out of control, but that gave you complete control.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Interesting.
It's a very curious thing, yeah. I mean, that whole thing of like this alcoholism and addiction thing is crazy, right? Because, it was so, when we drink or get drunk, we are so out of control, and that didn't bother me at all. Weird. It's like now the thought of it absolutely terrifies me. I mean, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like a cat with 9 lives. I must have gotten away with so many occasions I could have die. I mean, it's a really dangerous thing to do, And
Well, how many sort of pints were you putting away then, like in a day?
I can't remember. I've just drink to blackout.
Drunk, yeah. So I do that too much at the minute. But it's a dangerous place.
The worst thing I ever did was, so when I was 33, when I was 33, I already then, always knew I had a problem with drink. So when I was 33, I stopped drinking, just off nothing, I said, right, I'm going to stop drinking, right? One day and I did. And for 3 years. And then one day, I was in Gravesend in a flat on my own, and there were these bottles of beer underneath the sink in the kitchen. And I knew they were there. And I was kind of setting a trap for myself. The bottles of Theakston's Old Peculiar, I can remember them sitting there, right? And they sat there for about 2 weeks. And I knew they were there. And I knew I can't have one. 3 years sober. And one night I just thought, I'd be fine, on my own, just have one. And it took me 4.5 years to stop drinking. I was a runaway train. That was basically I would have been, say, 36. So between the age of 36 and 40, that was insane. At the time, I had a family in Ibiza. I was traveling backward and forward from London. I had this sort of dual life on aeroplanes and running a business and being successful, trying to be, and drinking badly, and then substance abuse of anything I'd get my hands on. And my God, I mean, I just look back at it and I just couldn't live. I mean, I couldn't get on a plane. I couldn't go through an airport without, wow.
Were you partying in Ibiza as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few...
Partying, that's not partying. I wasn't partying at all. It was just like, for me, I was in hell.
Really?
You know.
What would describe hell?
Well, it's the massive difference between, social drinking or social partying and social drug taking to just pure self-destruction, total self-destruction. It's a completely different thing. And I was the latter. It was nothing to do with fun.
Do you know why you were doing it? If I'd
No.
like to ask that, it was just
Crazy thing, and no, I don't know.
yeah.
I really don't know. I think just a stupid habit. But what I do know is, the common thing that us addicts have is that I can't have one. And if I just stay away from that one, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's just really bloody simple. Just don't have the one.
Yeah.
And there is probably no science to this. There's no secret to it. It's just almost like an allergy. If I touch it, if I literally just touch it, I'm fucked. Literally, everything I have now, everything, my business, I have a big business.
Yeah.
I would lose everything in a week.
Yeah.
It is the sword of Damocles, and it is right there.
Okay, now.
It is literally right there.
Yeah.
And I often have that. I have one of my screensavers on my phone. Actually, is the sword of Damocles, and I have that.
What is it? It's the sword of.
The sword of Damocles. So
What is that?
Damocles was the jester of the. Yeah, well, we read the story of. It's about the sword that's hanging above the king, because everybody wants to sit in the throne, right? And it looks great, and then you look above, and you realise you've got that thing hanging by one thread.
Yeah.
My thread is that alcohol. And it just took me about 40 years to work this thing out. You just leave that alone and everything else is going to sort itself out.
So the sword of Damocles in the bakery is the product. So as long as if you fuck that product, the sword comes down.
Yep.
And then the sword for your life is booze.
Yep, is booze.
Fascinating.
It is my gateway to hell.
Yeah.
And if I want to go and walk through that door, then I'm the fool.
And products your key to heaven, essentially.
Yeah.
In terms of the business, what I would love to talk about is from the revenue pillars. So you've got bakery. Like, what are those? You've got bakery. You've got these JV franchise.
Yep.
What are the pillars of the business?
So we have, in the UK, we own our business entirely. And we have education. We have B2B, so we supply a lot of restaurants. And then we have direct retail, so selling direct to customers.
Yeah. And what's the split across?
So the school is 20%. The wholesale B2B is 10%, and the direct retail is the rest 70%. So it's mainly retail. But it's lovely. The school it's a lovely way to. It's just a really important part of the business. It's lovely to.
What do you think about, again, I don't know where everyone has a different answer to this. Some people say in business, go really focus on one thing and become masterful at that, and anything else is a distraction, is just fuck that off. Other people are you need a myriad of different streams, because if one goes down, where do you sit on that spectrum of focus versus spreading your eggs,
I think we've got a good balance. We've got a good range. We don't do gimmicky stuff. We don't. I love I love making a really good mince pie, a really good hot cross bun. I love seasonality, but really the bread and butter of the business is good pastries, good bread, and good donuts, really. We kind of leave it alone. At Wembley, we have a restaurant there, so we do a breakfast offer. It's like an all-day brunch, good eggs, nice eggs Benedict,
Oh, lovely.
But really, we're not into, I do see a lot of, in the space at the moment, there is too much gimmicky stuff going on. And that's largely social media driven.
Yeah.
Just stay away from that, Look, I like to have a bit of fun sometimes. But really, when I go back to my restaurant days, the best restaurants I worked in just had really simple menus.
What were those?
Say Bibendum, 6 starters, 6 main courses, 6 desserts, leave it alone. Hey, Molly, how's it going? Just leave it alone, really. Just stick with good, simple flavours. You don't want big menus, Nah.
Yeah. What do you think of how have you galvanised the social media side of things?
It's funny, so we run the social media in-house. It's largely me. Molly gives me a hand on that. and we sort of do it between us really. And we every now and then we're like, oh, we try and get someone in to do our stuff. And we end up just going round in circles and we end up just doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, typically, I'll just go online and I'll just say, hello, Matthew here. We're doing a new flavour of donut. Come down and see us at Borough Market. Boom. Post. Don't edit anything. It's raw. It's unvarnished. And I sort of like that,
Yeah, that's the thing with
me.
this. I leave it all in.
Just leave it,
I feel there's so much stuff now so polished that it's vacuous because there's no substance behind it. It's no raw
Yeah, you want it live. You want it real.
It fucking real, man.
Yeah, you want it now. You don't want to be. It's a bit. I mean, I've got a similar sort of relationship with many aspects, social media, and with, I hate if people say to me, if I send somebody an email, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll get back to you next week. It's like, what are we talking about next week? I want it now.
Yeah.
That's the world I come from. If I was working in the kitchen, and the chef said, 4 creme brulees, please. I'm not going to say to him next week. He means, he wants it like ping pong, yeah, right? Bing, bing. He wants it back. Now. It's immediate. And I'm used to that. So.
Yes. So I introduced, again, back to Tom Kerridge. He said a really interesting thing about this. And I was like, because he's gone sober as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, he was saying that he would, after service, he would drink 2 pints of Negroni just to get him going. Like, it was fucking wild. He's gone completely sober.
Great.
But he was saying, I was asking him the difference between chef in kitchen and businessman. And he was saying, when you're a chef in a kitchen, everything is reactionary. It's like 4 creme brulees now. You're fucking things up now. Sort it out now. And he goes, but now as he's got a big, business as well. His whole thing is you can't be reactionary. It's like, so how do you if your natural thing is like, fucking let's move, but then in business sometimes you can't be reactionary. Like, how do you?
Really difficult. Age. I think you've just got to slow down a bit.
Yeah. I'm asking this selfishly because I'm so reactive. I'm like,
yeah. But it's a really difficult. Is to analyse that and just to. Well, as they say, don't they? That space between action and reaction. That is the space when we grow as a person.
Ooh. Talk to me about some of those moments where that space has caused you to grow.
Wow, because you've got to think. Because it's easier to react. And just to pause is a really difficult thing to do.
What's an example of that?
Because you've got to go deeper.
Yeah, go deeper on that. Give me an example.
Well, if somebody, I think it's a very common sort of reaction in if you feel threatened or if you're feeling a bit insecure or if somebody's pushing your buttons a little bit. The easiest thing to do is just to react. And the hardest thing to do is just to listen and to really think about it from both sides and then to respond. It's a hard thing to do without emotion attached to it. That's a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah. It's like one of those.
Once you've done it, it feels so much better.
Yeah. What has been that? Is there like an example of where you have wanted to go like fucking and then
probably every day. I mean, hard to really think of them, but yeah, definitely there will be plenty.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one that's really good. It's a bit like what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force. Something has to give.
Sure.
It has to give. So what is the answer? There is an answer.
Which is?
Well, and I experienced this. So when I was a chef, there was this unstoppable force, which was me, and the immovable object, which was alcohol, or the other way around. I don't know. But there were these two dynamics happening.
Sure.
Right? So the answer is a new entity is formed, which is both unstoppable and immovable.
Right.
It's the only answer.
Right.
And that new entity is now me. That's what I became. I became a new thing, because it's the only logical answer. But it's quite a thing to accept.
Yeah, that
and then
really
you have to grow from there.
That's so profound.
It is a thing.
That's so profound. Immovable, yeah. Because I think we all have that, but the hardest thing is...
Basically, you just need to step away from it.
So The Wasp Factory, what's that about?
It's this book. I mean, I won't tell you too much because it's such a twist It's such a mad book.
Is it an old book or?
Yeah, written in, I think, in the 80s.
Oh, wow, yeah. I'm going to make a note of that. Yeah.
Oh, you will love it. It is, man, yeah. What a book. I mean, yeah, it's one of those books you just have to read it, because he's set in a remote Scottish island. This youngster, he's set in a remote Scottish island, being brought up by his dad. And the mum's abandoned them, and he's got a brother who's in a psychiatric ward, and it's a seriously dysfunctional family, and his life, and how he lives, and it is. I mean, it's one of those books that has such an ending that it's like just comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, wow,
really,
wow.
Mate, I love. There's a reason I like fiction is it allows because it's fiction. You can explore different parts of the human condition through fiction, and you can interpret it in really interesting ways. Whereas like non-fiction, so like prescriptive. It's like do this,
and the book is so much better because you can within your mind you can create a much bigger picture than you would ever create on a screen.
But also, what I like is me and you both read that book. The vision we create in our head is completely different.
Yep.
That's why I love reading, because it's like everyone that you put on your own life experiences, and then the world you create is your world. And it's like, even though people are reading the same story, the creation they get off it is completely different. What were some of the lessons you took from that? Because I think I've always found. Have you read The Bonfire of Vanities?
No.
That's a really on the link of. It links to Wasps because it's about this New Yorker guy. But Tom Wolfe is my favourite book of all time. But you read that book and it's like an X-ray to society. Right. You can see how we have this insane. It's about this New York stockbroker who just has this fall from grace. But the word wasp is linked. So these.
Was that good?
Bonfire of Vanities by Tom Wolfe.
Okay, I'll read it.
I'll send it to you. It's really, really good. And he's got another one called A Man in Full, which they've actually just turned into a Netflix.
Tom Wolfe.
Yeah, there's two Tom Wolfes. He's it's Wolf with an E, but he's the American guy. But yeah, you read that, and it's like, it's an X-ray into... It's actually... Rory Sutherland's got a quote which says, the best books on advertising actually have nothing to do with advertising, which I love, because it's basically... And you read that book, and it's like, you realise that our desire in life is three things: status, connection, and freedom from fear. Right, and you get and everything we're trying to do is linked to those things. You read this book, and it's like, fuck me, that is like so true of life. We want status, we want connection, and we don't want to be feeling in a fearful state.
I've read a lot recently, actually. I've read quite a bit.
When do you read? Is it like night?
In the morning, yeah.
Yeah,
get up early.
That's what I do. Yeah.
4 a.m. I can read. I just read Down and Out in Paris and London, actually, George Orwell.
I've read that. Fucking great book.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And I just the most recent book I read was Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde.
Yes, I haven't read that.
It is just, it's funny because we read that at school. It is so beautifully written.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, I love that era of writing. I love, Herman Melville, I love, what was the other book I read recently that was from the H.G. Wells I read?
War of the Worlds?
Well, yeah, he wrote that, but what was the one I read?
That book's mad, though, War of the Worlds. That predicted the...
How did he see? I mean, he was a visionary.
He was a visionary. He predicted the... there's mad stuff he predicted. Like, he predicted, God, what was it? This almost like space travel, the amount of stuff that you pulled from that book. And what's mad about that is it's an alien invasion, but what I find crazy is people are running away on horse and carts. Like, it's just such a... But I'm reading Charlie Chaplin's autobiography, which is one of the best written autobiographies ever. Like, the way his prose is just so delicate and delicious as you absorb it. But he was really good friends with H.G. Wells, right? Which I didn't realise.
Oh, Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah. What's that?
I just read Fiesta, so...
Is that when he was in Cuba?
Pamplona. Pamplona in Spain.
Okay, yeah. Because didn't he do one when he was in Cuba?
He would have done, for sure.
Yeah. He was a mad fucker.
Oh, yeah. But when they talked about...
Didn't he shoot himself in the head?
Yeah, he shot him, he killed himself. Yeah,
but he would drink a lot, wouldn't
he? He was probably an alcoholic, I don't know. He was a big drinker. Yeah, famous for that. But he had that sort of technique of writing. He called it iceberg, didn't he? The iceberg technique.
When you remove all the fat.
Yeah, and he just gave enough and allowed the reader to kind of make their own mind up of the story. So if you read his book, it's very simple, his writing. It's very sort of, Jack did this, or, Brett or whatever, but somehow he builds this picture in your mind. Fascinating.
Yeah, I've read Old Man and the Sea, but that's a great book. And the way the analogous thing is, I always think it's a bit like some Japanese food where it's just so, there's nothing there, but it's just so, like almost like, what Endo at Rotunda does, like, it's just like bang.
Yeah.
And it's like the literary equivalent of that. So it's so simple. Well, maybe even some of this stuff, like, it's just like...
same with flavours, totally
that's what it is, and just don't fuck around with it.
I mean, I worked for Simon Hopkinson back in the kitchen at Bibendum, and he was that. He was a purist down to the bone, and he was really one of the masters of just doing that. He had this dish, aubergine and pesto, on the plate, and nothing else. And nothing else means nothing else. But so few people can get that. They all want to garnish it. They all want to put something on the plate. They all want to add, and it's like, no. And it's just so wonderful. If you go to, a great Italian bistro and you have a saffron risotto and it's just blop and there's nothing else. And getting people just to do nothing else is so hard because they all want to add, and you mustn't add. It's just about you just stop.
Yes.
And that is baking. That is proper baking. And it is, God, I bet wouldn't it be wonderful to have Hemingway here and give him a vanilla donut?
Yeah.
Oh, if only we could, because he would get it. He would get that flavour, that singularity, that just bam, right between the eyes,
Yeah, Oscar Wilde's got a quote which I love, which is everything popular is wrong. What would you explore that with me? Like, what do you think's popular that's wrong?
Gosh, yeah, where do you start? So much.
Yeah, I know, it's an interesting point, isn't it?
Sugar. Just about everything we do,
Which is,
I mean, we're so lost as a race. We've come so far away from what was our purpose, I mean, and it really feels like there's a big split at the moment, doesn't it, happening in the world of this sort of powerlessness over the decisions that are getting made to wreak havoc on our planet, and it's just so wrong, and it's like, and we're just powerless, the them and us. And very difficult.
yeah, no, it's
we have to start with healing ourselves, and we can make some beautiful bread with a group of people in our bakeries.
Yeah, but I was really trying to get into the nexus of why you do this, and I think it's becoming blossoming and flowering to the surface. It's that there is so much wrong and chaos and hell and all these destructive things, but actually if you just pull it down to baking a loaf of bread or a donut, and in its purest, as you say, Hemingway-esque form, there's something very powerful about that.
Yeah, there is.
And
leave it alone.
Yeah, why? So do you think, again, that can almost link to this social media craze of like adding all this bullshit to it? Like some of the stuff you see, it's fucking disgusting. Like this stuff with like, just you look at it just looks anemic and just sickly. Like, why do you think people don't leave things alone? Like, what's that about? Because
they're immature.
Immature?
Yeah.
Because
they haven't read enough Hemingway.
That's a great point.
They need to read more and talk less.
Yeah.
Spend less time on Instagram. And that would go a long way forward.
Yeah.
Read the classics,
Well, yeah, so what are the... So I could talk about literature for days, mate. What are some of the other books that are really sort of perspective shifting or grounding?
The God of Small Things, that was a good book.
I need to write that down.
Wow, set in India, about the caste system.
Good God of Small Things.
Yeah. And what's her name, the lady who wrote... She wrote a couple of books, the Turkish lady. The one is called There Are Rivers in the Sky.
Oh, that's a great name.
Yeah, Rivers in the Sky.
What's that
Set in
about?
the 1800s. Well, it's sort of three stories that merge together. So it's a boy who's in the late 1800s, and he's a genius, and he discovers the British Museum, and it's the time when they bring the tablets from Mesopotamia.
The what, sorry?
The stone tablets with cuneiform, with the writing, ancient writing.
And that was the ancient city, right?
Yeah, from Mesopotamia.
What was Mesopotamia? Was that like...
Well, that was Persia,
Right,
Iraq.
right.
Iraq, Iran, that sort of bit right in with the Tigris. And he discovers that he can read cuneiform, and he learns he's a genius, and he basically deciphers these tablets. And all these scholars at the time are just like baffled by how does he do this, and he's just his gift. But it's fascinating. Yeah, there are rivers in the sky. That's a wonderful book.
What did you take from that?
It's just it's a bit of a tragedy, really. It's a bit of a, I mean, it's just somebody who had such a punished life. He was so unjust,
Right.
and it's just very humbling.
Yeah. What, he was almost too clever for his own good? Was that...
Yeah, but he was really punished as a child. He had a horrible, really, it's that sort of Victorian childhood.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
makes me grateful for.
Yeah. What was your childhood like?
I mean, pretty blissful, really. I mean, I grew up in a town, Seven Oaks, Seven Oaks down in Kent. I was a busy little bee, I went to wilderness school.
Oh, wilderness school.
Yeah, went to the wilderness.
What is that? What is that like?
Well, there are two schools. So I went to primary school, and then we had this thing called the 11 plus. I don't know if you remember. Was it 11 plus or 13 plus? So what was it called, Murray? 11 plus. It was the 11 plus.
That's when you go into the next school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so when you have your 11 plus, you take these exams, you're that age, 11, 12, or whatever it is, you're going to go to secondary school. And you either get a blue letter or a green letter.
Right.
You've either passed or failed. And that kind of determines your future.
Which is fucking mental for 11 years
It's
old.
insane, right? So
Yeah.
I failed. So all the bright children, they go to the grammar school, they go to TWTHS, Tunbridge Wells Technical High School for boys. They went to Seven Oaks School, the bright children. And I became sort of crushingly aware at that age I was not a bright child. And that's awful, isn't it? I mean, it's awful. I remember opening his letter, and so I got a blue letter, and it was like, oh, I didn't get a green, so I failed. So it's terrible. So basically, I went to Wilderness, where the other kids go. It was a great school. We had a great headmaster. I loved it. I made friends, got on with my life. But from an academic point of view, I was an idiot. I mean, what a profoundly wrong thing to do to a child at that age is awful. It's just like, and much it's strange. So I left school at 15 with no O levels, no qualifications, nothing. I had no interest. I just wanted to go and get on with my life.
Sure.
And I was lucky, right? I mean, I was fortunate, whatever. I had this sort of skill set that enabled me to navigate, to be employable. I had a passion for my career. But, really quite horrible, that sort of crushing feeling. And, and then those sort of interviews of why have you've got a blue letter, And it's sort of snobbery around that, really.
Sure.
And I think for many years I felt quite embarrassed. I can remember when I was, I lose my voice.
Yeah, go for it.
I can remember when I was about 17, 18, I would have been working at the time, and we went to this barbecue with some other friends, and there were these other mums there this mum said to me, oh, which school did you go? Which school did you go to? And I was like, I went to Wilderness. And she sort of looked at me and went,
Oh, God.
Yeah. How? You poor thing. You know what I mean? I mean, it's awful.
It's awful, yeah.
And it was a very sort of snobbish world. And it's dreadful, isn't it? And you sort of accept that, really, when you just, all right, well, I'm thick, and it's sort of, you just go on with that. But really, those things could be, that could have been just one or two questions in a multiple choice question thing that I just didn't know or whatever. that kind of determine the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, it's that yeah, because I had the same thing. I went to one uni, because basically school predicted me shit grades. So, and, you know, the whole thing about Russell Group universities, again, it's so fucking superfluous in a name now. But at the time, when you're like 16, you're like, I need to do this, otherwise I'm fucked.
You failed.
You failed. And so then the school predicted me shit grades. And as soon as someone says that to me, I'm like, right, I'm going to turn this around. But you have to, with the application process, it's long. So I went to Bournemouth Uni and then dropped out after a term because I was partying like a madman, had no control really there. And then ended up going to Manchester. But that setback initially was like, that crush, again, I relate, is that crushing feeling of feeling like you're dumb, you know? And I think that's why I'm so curious now. I always want to be learning, because I think it comes from this feeling of like inefficiency, sort of, you know?
Well, it's, you know, it goes back to the sword of Damocles, doesn't it? I mean, you know, I can fail any day if I want, but I won't. But I'm going to do everything I can not to. And failure can take many, you know, you can fail from a health inspection. You can have a dirty fridge. You can have out-of-date food. You could have, you know, there's many ways you can fail. But I've got to make sure that all the little tick boxes are ticked. And I've done all the things. I pay my tax on time. I treat people properly. I pay rent on time. I behave myself as a tenant. You know, I have to do all of those things, and also make sure everybody else is doing it. You know,
it's fascinating. Would you say, I always believe like we're always like some of the best business people, like they're trying to run away from something and run towards something. It's like running from failure, running to success. I always think that's an interesting lens. Like, let's talk about the ambition side, because you've said you've always had this global ambition.
Yeah.
Like, I love people who are ambitious. I like get fucking energy from that, you know?
Yep.
And like, I can't, I had this conversation yesterday, because I speak to so many interesting people, and like all my friends in the industry are super ambitious.
Yeah,
you know?
good.
When I meet like a normal person, I'm almost allergic to normal people, because I get so fucking bored within 2 minutes. But so how do you dream?
I dream big, and I think I've learned to do that. And why not? You know, because once you realise that, you know, the sort of basic mechanics, people love our product, clearly, and so that's happened. People love coming to bake with us in our bakery schools. There's not a chance. So there's already thousands of people.
What do you mean by not a chance?
Well, it's not just blind luck. These people are not turning up. Yes. They're paying for a service we're providing. So what do we need now to scale that up? You know, we need, you know, so we've got a great PR company that I found. They're fantastic. You know, I've got a really good team. So, and I've realized that, you know, it is a very, very scalable business. And the people who win in the game, be it, you know, Gales, I mean, they're winning the game. I mean, they're winning. You know, a lot of people say, oh, they're doing this and that. And from a business perspective, they've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I grew up, having my local bakery in Sevenoaks was dreadful. We didn't have anything like that. Didn't have this. Anybody who's improved the bakery scene, I think, has done great. And of course, look, there's going to be always controversy about this and that, because that's the world we live in. But so I take inspiration from other successful businesses. I want to do it my way. I love the teaching. I love doing free stuff for kids. I like to do some charitable things along the way. But yeah, what do I want? I mean, I want us to be open in 100 cities globally. By the end of this year, we'll be open in 12 cities. So we're 12% of the way. We can do it, definitely. Definitely. I mean, we're opening New York this year, so that would be a game changer for us. At least five in each city, so that's 500 locations. I think we could get to 1,000. I'd like to be a really big employer and a really inspiring person for people to look at and think, wow, you know, because it's the journey, isn't it? It's not about a destination. I like being on this journey. I really love it. I love it every day. I look forward to coming here. I you know, get out of bed in the morning. Oh, right, it's great. And, and a lot of it, people say, why don't you sell your business? And that, what am I going to do with myself? Well, if I sold my business and and go and sort of have a little sleepy, I mean, no way.
It'd be fucking boring. Yeah.
I'm just going, no way. That's not what I'm about.
Yeah. What was it? Adam Handling said to me, I work to live, which I love.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm the same. Like, without this, I would be bored as hell. Like,
What are you going to do with yourself?
It'd be an empty place. In terms of scaling, like, what are some of the systems you had to put in place to scale? Because I feel like that's one of the...
Well, I think we found it easier than most because we're good at training people. We do loads and loads of training. So last year we had 20,000 people through our schools. So we've become really good at showing people what to do. So that's sort of woven into our DNA as a business.
Oh, wow. So almost like the revenue stream of education is actually internally helping you scale as well.
Yeah, it is. And it's helping to inspire and attract the right type of people into the business.
Who want to learn,
You
essentially.
need passionate people. And you want people who understand sourdough and they understand, modern bakery, really, which is what we're about. But it's actually not modern at all. What we're doing is actually, that's how it should be. We're just selling proper stuff.
Yeah.
Proper bread. But I think it's a really interesting space to be in. I mean, I'm so glad that I'm a baker, I'm so, and that was just sort of a happy accident. There I was minding my own business as a chef, and then I worked as a chef and sort of migrated into pastry, then went into bakery, and thought, I'll set a business up. And hey.
What's the art of educating and sort of teaching people?
Well, I suppose I've learned with that because I came from a very intolerant chef world, and all we need to do, not everybody's going to leave our bakery school as a sort of amazing baker. What we need to do is just elevate skills. If they're here, we lift them to here. It's just one little step. As long as people learn something, always learn something. And it's just those little additions of knowledge, and that's how our brain is built, isn't it? It's just a little bit every day.
And that's how you get the team moving here, like in terms
little bits,
just little bits every day.
Little bits.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of little pieces.
Yeah.
All accumulate to be this huge tower.
Yeah.
It's not one big rock,
Yeah, it's almost like that, but almost the bacteria, like one little bit of bacteria. What's it? Because I know you guys, the way your franchise model or JVs is quite different. I read something that's quite different to other businesses. Like, describe that.
Well, for international, we are
international. Yes,
international. We're franchise, which is a tried and tested system. It's great. It works. It's we don't want to be. We could never open a business in the Philippines. It would be way too complex. Local law, local employment, local real estate law. It's a complicated beast.
So how does it work from a franchise model? Like as in, so they'll come to you, you go to them?
It's typically they've always come to us, but now we are actively out there. So I've got a development team looking at developing the world.
Right.
So we are, this year we're opening in Manila, in Bangkok, in Jordan. New York we'll do it ourselves.
How come you want to do that yourself?
I just want to own it. I just want to sort of make sure. America is probably the biggest market in the world. We need to crack it. So New York, and I love New York. I go there a lot, and I just find it a very inspiring place. I love the energy. I love the kind of can-do-ness of it. London, I don't feel that in London all the time. It's a bit sort of...
Interesting.
London can be a bit, I think you get a bit of tall poppy syndrome in the UK. If you're sort of perceived to be a little bit too successful, it's like... Oop, 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 oop.
Sure.
In America, they want you to go to the moon.
Yeah.
Mars.
Yeah. What are you... So, the ex-marketing director of Pret's a really good mate of mine, and he does Corson Press now, the drinks, and he was at Green and Blacks. And he was saying that when they launched Pret into New York, it was really, on that point, really challenging because in terms of the tone of voice, the language, in the UK, it's like, we're fresh bread. And it's like, in America, they were like, that's not going to work here. We need the braggadocious fucking, we are the best coffee. It's interesting, like, again, Oscar Wilde's got another quote about America versus the UK. We're two nations divided by a common language, which I think is very, 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 very interesting. What are you going to do differently to make sure you crack America?
Well, we've done a bit of branding. So we have done a refresh to our branding, and it is quite bold and brash.
Is that specifically for America?
No, we do it everywhere because I think we just need to be. I think we can wear it as a brand. You know, we need to be a bit out there. Yeah, we need to shout a bit, you know?
Yeah.
And let's be really proud of that. And if the you know, the Brits don't really like it, but, you know, come on, guys.
What have been some of the like mistakes or failures you've made that you've learned a lot? I think like the deeper the wound, the deeper the wisdom, like on this 10, 15-year journey, there's going to be mistakes.
Well, I think I made so many mistakes in my 40s and 30s and 20s that I think I've been pretty good.
What were those mistakes? Because you had Flower Power as well.
Yeah, gosh, I had Flower Power City. I set that up when I was 29 years old. And I was all over the place as a person, you know. But I learn. I'm a quick learner, you know, and I I think, you know, sort of baptism of fire. I mean, the only way you really get, you know, you can say to a child, can't you, don't do that. And, you know, they're going to do it.
Yeah. What was the baptism of fire?
You've just got to stay connected with your business all the time.
Stay connected.
With your business, with what you do. You can't drift, you know? You can't. You've got to be emotionally and physically attached to a business. You have to be all the time.
So when you say you were drifting, like, what were you doing? Like,
well, in that case with Flower Power back in the day, you know, I wasn't there. I became disconnected emotionally, you know, mentally. I just wasn't in the business. I was drunk. I was, you know, I was in a different place.
Interesting. So again, we don't have to go here, but what happened with Flower Power? Because didn't you get fucked over by an investor or something?
Well, not really. I mean, yeah. So Flower Power had the business for 10 years.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah,
I really like that name. Yeah, really fun.
Well, and it's 5 and 5 letters, so it's spread ahead. There is a little few things woven.
Yeah. No, I think both names, but I just think it's a really delicious name.
So, yeah, I had business 10 years, grew. I had about 50 or 60 staff. We were doing well, and we used to do a lot of wholesale, a lot of farmers markets around London. And then I got approached by an investor, Luke Johnson, and at the time he was, you know, very successful man, and I sort of, wow, Luke, you know, and he invested duly a little bit into my business, Flower Power, at the worst possible time. I mean, I was drunk all the time. In the beginning, he didn't notice or pretended not to notice, and then we were only worked together for about 6 months, and then it just got worse and worse. I got worse and worse, wasn't turning up to meetings, wasn't present. And then it really came to a head, and he was like, just get out, just get out. And he just basically sacked me. I mean, the business needed more money because I was spending too much. So he put more in, but he said, all right, yeah, I put more in, but I'm having your business off your son.
Right, how did that work? I don't understand. If you only give a bit of money in.
Because it was either that or I would have gone bust. Yeah,
right.
No, I was so compromised. I mean, I was stupid, you know. I was an idiot, you know. And he took full advantage of that. Do I blame him? No. He's an investor. That's what investors do, you know. And did I feel any sort of remorse? Actually, no. It's funny. I saw him about 2 months ago. I was at a book launch, and I saw him. It's the first time I'd seen him since, it's like 15 years. And it was really funny because I probably looked quite different. And he was like, gosh, Matthew, how are you? And I said, I'm fine, actually, Luke, how are you? And it was quite nice to sort of set that straight.
Yeah.
Because I left it in such a abysmal place, you know. I just sort of just walked away. I was fucked, you know.
So what did you do like the day you walked away? Like,
went to Northfield Farm.
Oh, so that was that day?
Yeah, 2009.
And so is that business still going?
Northfield Farm?
No, Flower Power.
No, they kept it for a while, and then they ended up using the space to manufacture stuff and folded up.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what did you say when you saw Luke? Like, what was the discussion?
Oh, it was so nice to see you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's a, you know, I don't know him particularly well, to be honest. I mean, but
Didn't he do Pizza Express?
That was kind of, I think, one of his most successful ventures. And he's had a couple, he's done very, very well. I mean, he's a wealthy man. Yeah.
Did you almost get a bit like when he came to the table, it was kind of that like, oh shit, like this could be...
Yeah, it could be huge, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And it probably would have been if I'd been in the right space in my head.
Yeah.
But it's funny now, we get approached now by investors quite often. And we don't need to.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have investors in this, or
no.
you build it?
I own 100%.
Wow.
And we built it completely from cash flow. Well, I do. It's myself and my wife.
Yeah.
Which is great, and I'm really proud of that. We don't have investors. We don't need them. Which is a kind of really different place to be.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want an involvement of another person to have conversation. What's the point? What are we going to,
Yeah. It's boring.
Yeah. It's just spend all day in meetings.
In semantic sludge, basically.
Well, I mean, usually the reason why people want to invest is they'll put in a block of money now, and all they're going to want to do is sell that in 5 years, 3 or 4 times, and use it as a sort of a leverage tool. I don't want to be a part of that because I don't have an exit strategy in mind.
Yeah.
Exit strategy is my son to run it.
How old's your son?
5.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so he's got
you got
time.
Yeah. Is that you got one child?
I had 4 children with my first wife. Yeah, and that whole relationship is a thing of total disaster and ruin. And there we are. But hey, that's life.
Yeah. What about the name Bread Ahead? Where did that come from?
Bread Ahead? Well, I was left in this position, you see, in 2009, when I went to Northfield Farm. I was sitting at this table, Jan McCourt's table, thinking, what the fuck are you going to do with your life, son? A bit like in Twisted Sister.
How old is this Jan? Is he a bit older than you?
Yeah, 10 years older than me, almost exactly to the day.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scorpio, like me, 10 years, exactly 10 years older.
Wait, when's Scorpio again? What's that? What?
November. I'm November 13th, I was born.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So the name Bread Ahead, so I draw, and I always have a sketchbook in my bag, and I draw stuff all the time, and I love drawing. And I write things down and doodle and sketch. And I still have the little book at home. And I was just writing the word bread, and I just drew an arrow in front of the word bread. And I just thought, bread ahead. And that's what it needs to be. That needs to be our name. And that was it.
Wow.
That was the name. Very simple.
Yeah, it's a great name.
And I like the sort of forward nature of it and forward thinking. I mean, I consider us a young brand. I mean, I like that. I consider myself to be young. I'm 56.
Yeah, you're in fucking great nick.
Yeah, I train a lot every day. I have a personal trainer. I do a lot of
When
those.
did you train?
Usually 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's the time I usually go.
Yeah, I love it.
Fucking boozing.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss it if I don't do it. My wife trains a lot, a little bit obsessed about that. But it's great, and I really enjoy it, actually.
Yeah.
I really haven't got any injuries at the moment, which is a really nice place to be.
Do you do running? Or
I can't. I ruined my... Yeah, I knackered my toe, actually. So about 30 years ago, when I was drunk, I was running on a beach, a sandy beach, and there was a stone, a rock in the sand.
Fuck.
And this big toe, that one right there, I basically ripped it underneath.
Oh.
Proper. I mean, like...
Fuck me.
Excruciating pain. And now it's swollen. I've had an operation on it. I'm not going to run again.
Yeah.
Not any distance, you know.
Yeah.
I walk a lot. I did 60,000 steps one day last year. It was my record last year.
Yeah, I think I saw that actually.
60,000.
So wait, how long does that take? Like 10 hours or something?
Yeah, proper. I mean, I was up all day. I just got up like 4 a.m. I just walked and a little break for lunch and I love doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll do it again next year. I'll just see how far.
Where did you walk?
It was in Lithuania, in the forest, in the pine forests.
Oh, but that's delicious.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it like in the hills or is it in...
No, it's quite flat, actually.
Oh,
A bit helpful,
nice. I approach this delicately, tell me to fuck off, but with your previous relationship, would you want to reach out to your kids again, or is that...
Oh, I mean, in time, but it's been a long time, and it's a difficult one. I still, it's still pretty I believe, look, I'm an eternal optimist, and if you're out there listening, come and see me.
Yeah.
Don't know, it's a difficult one, when families break down. I mean, it is a very, very difficult thing. It's almost like a ghost, it's like a sort of a ghost in my life. And look, I believe there'll be a day for that,
And when you say it's a ghost in your life, like, does that manifest every day with you? Does that hurt
I have
you?
a place for it. Yeah, of course. It's a tragedy. It's a horrific thing, But, I'm not alone in that.
Yeah.
It's an awful thing. And it's, there are some things that time maybe doesn't heal.
Yeah. And did that happen around that 2009?
Yeah.
Just everything just got cut off from your family?
Yeah. And I think as well, probably what caused a further rift is when I remarried and then had another, I had my son.
Yeah.
And there's probably, that's another dynamic, and people find that maybe really painful and hard to swallow.
Yeah.
For me, it's wonderful. I've been really successful. And to look at that from the outside, it's probably pretty painful for others, and but I think, I had to, I was aware that I had a dysfunctional marriage and family. And I kind of knew that, look, I've got another chance. I'm not going to waste my time. I need to get on with my life, because, and I did, I really got on with it. So I just kind of put everything into my work, which is what I love doing anyway.
Yeah.
Often I work 7 days a week now. I mean, by work 7 days, look, on Sunday I'll pop in for 2-3 hours. I'll see the guys.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't find it, stressful in any way. I find it a pleasure.
Also, I just get bored if I'm not like...
Yeah, you need to be connected.
Connect. I love that idea of having your whole body connected to the business.
Yeah. And it's certainly, even if I'm away, but I'm still here. Mentally, I'm in this room,
The few more things, mate, then we'll begin to wrap this up. I fucking love this conversation. It's so interesting.
About music, we didn't touch on music, because I grew up, I was born in 1969, and I grew up with the best music.
So what were you into?
Ever.
What were you into?
Well, kind of everything, depending on my mood. And, that could have been from hair rock.
What is hair rock?
Well, that was Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
They kind of started that movement. I haven't actually listened
to Twisted. Oh my God, there's actually a fucking cafe called Twisted Sister that's just opened in Battersea Rise.
Is that really?
Yeah. I was wondering why those, because I just followed them on Instagram. That's fucking mad. Maybe there's a link to that. I'll have to go in and ask them.
Well, and, Creedence and the American rock bands and Leonard Skinner and the picture discs and the vinyl and Trevor Horn and Malcolm McLaren and that, there was just so much talent. And that, the early music videos, and then Madonna came on, and Prince and Michael Jackson. And I was so lucky to have kind of experienced that firsthand. George Michael, these people, Freddie Mercury, our lives were full of music and content and great. I went to see Freddie Mercury, Queen in concert in Wembley. Well, it was Live Aid when I was 15. Wow.
Again, British. I think the British music is our greatest export.
That guy. How do you even begin to kind of quantify something like that?
It's unfathomable.
Elton John. Annie Lennox, the Eurythmics. It was just talent and talent and talent and talent, and it was just like this explosion of incredible music.
If Bread Ahead was like a rock band or a singer, who would it be? Who would you model it on?
Nice one. That's a good question. That's a really good question. It would be a mix. If it had to be one. Gosh, yeah. I suppose, that is really hard to answer. What do I keep going back to? Would be my question. I suppose my playlist at the moment, what would I go back to? Because I love Sex Pistols. Loved it. What have I got on here at the moment? Maybe The Jam.
Oh, mate, I was listening to them. I've got a really good... Spotify does your radio.
Yeah.
You can do the radio. I had it on yesterday. and I think I put in the Smiths, This Charming Man, and then it came. Yeah. So what difference does it make? The Smiths is what I'm kind of listening to. I fucking love the Smiths. But I did the radio, and then you get all the Jam, you get the fucking Stone Roses.
I mean, it was just so much of it.
The song that I like, well, the band I base my stuff off is the Beatles.
Yep.
Because what I love about, I talk about this a lot, but the fact that they constantly reinvented.
Yeah.
As soon as they did one thing, they rip it up, start again, rip it up. And I try to make every conversation completely different. But then, like, the song that is like my brain is like, you know, that I Want to Be Adored, that like that is like how I want to like fucking get after it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What song best represents like the way your brain works?
Gosh, so many. You know, I do that thing of playing music on repeat. At the moment, Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star, Trevor Horn. There's a really good one on YouTube where he does a live. He's in his 80s and he was a bassist, you know, he's a bass guitarist. And he's just got it. I mean, Dire Straits. I mean, there's some, I like good covers. You know, there's Frog Studios.
No, I don't know.
They do some good covers of, he's a crazy guy. I think he's German. Listen to that. I mean, it's just wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
What's been the best big gig you've ever been to?
I would have been Live Aid when I was 15, because I think the age I was, you know.
So, yeah, because that's quite I remember seeing Oasis when I was that age at Maximo Park.
And you're away from home and you're thinking, and you know, you feel you shouldn't really be doing it.
No, I saw Elton John at Festival. That Festival used to be such a fucking good festival, and it kind of became sort of eviscerated into nothing, which was a bit sad. But like, I remember seeing Sister Sledge I went to uni in Manchester. Seeing Sister Sledge, wow, bro, that was just wonderful. Like the most sumptuous experience ever. It was so good.
Yeah, I used to go to a lot of the festivals. I mean, back in my 30s, you know, in my drinking days, we used to, when I had Flower Power, we used to do like the Shambhala. We used to do the music festivals and sell bread there. And cakes and pastry, have a stall.
And then get off your nut, basically.
Yeah, I used to spend all the money. I used to, basically, it was just a non-stop party. So for the whole summer, I used to have a van and I used to drive to the festivals, take the stuff, and then, that's all very irresponsible but, you know.
I used to set up glamping at festivals, and none of the big ones, but we did like Rewind Festival in Henley, which was the 80s one, which was jokes. But again, this was, I was like 20, but you know, you'd be sleeping in the van and just fucking partying. And like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a very, very, very fun experience. Like, if I'm being honest, you know, I really, really enjoyed it. And I look back in those periods when I was like, again, in retrospect, it's a beautiful thing. At the time, I was probably thinking, what the fuck am I doing? All my mates are in finance, so I'm setting up camping things. But, you know, with rose-tinted lens, goggles, whatever, it felt, probably wasn't, but felt very carefree, you know? And it was just like a very easy time. Final question, mate, 'cause I know you've got a meeting. What's one truth you believe most people disagree with you on?
I think being selfish is a really good thing, but you've got to understand the real meaning of the word.
Go on.
So, you know, I think this sort of perception of selfishness is often perceived as being a negative thing, but it's not at all. To be selfish, you've got to look after your own interests first before you can do good for others. Because if you're, you know, it's a bit like the analogy of putting on your own oxygen mask before you can help another. So I think, you know, it's, you know, I think that point, well, the view of selfishness, I think is...
It's almost being selfish is also selfless.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Interesting.
But it's important to have the balance. Because it's not just greed, that's a different thing.
Yes.
You've got to be able to take and give.
So how are you very selfish? And then how does that manifest selflessly?
I mean, I put business first. And I think I'm very fortunate that my wife is a person who gets that. Not all partners do. You know, I was talking to another guy who owns a business, and he was saying that his wife, when he's on holiday, he's not allowed to look at his phone. I find that ridiculous. I find that totally ridiculous. Look, if you're a business owner, it's always going to be business first. Of course, if there's an emergency, of course you have to commit. But you have to respond. If you're going to win a game, if you're on the pitch and you've got to get that, your job is to get that ball further down that pitch. That is the job. And when you're in business, a business like this, there is no off button. It's 24/7. Doesn't stop. You snooze, you lose.
Are you competitive with other bakeries, or how do you think about competition? Like,
I love them.
because you champion them. So like,
absolutely,
what are you competitive against?
I hate shit bread in supermarkets. It's dreadful.
Right.
I hate the way the British food system is become so sort of bland at the top end. What we need is, little bakeries all over the country. It creates employment. It's creative. It's beneficial in so many ways. And I want to inspire that.
Mate, absolute fucking joy, man. Love that, and really appreciate it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you were loving the episode. I'd appreciate a really small yet significant favor, por favor. Please, may you click the subscribe button, get in the comments, tell me what you think about the episode, tell me what you think we did on the show. It may not seem much, but it really helps us grow and helps us get bigger guests. Thank you so much.